cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. This video, honestly, probably has been long overdue. And I wasn't really going to say anything until I saw on a Bleacher Report post a quote that Karl Towns said on the Pat Beverly podcast, whatever it's called, but Pat Bev's podcast. Now, I found the podcast because I wanted to watch the video and hear what he said, but I could not, I could not bear to sit here for over an hour and watch a Patrick Beverly podcast talking with Karl Towns. I could not do it. With all the willpower I have, I could not sit there and wait to find this one quote or this one topic of conversation. But I'm going to tell you what was said by Karl Towns. He said, "When my time's up and I retire, ... So that means there was probably some stuff said in between that quote. Well, in between that first sentence and where the sentence picks up. So I was curious because sometimes things get put out of context. But regardless, this is what he said. When my time's up and I retire, there's going to be people who are going to say that I changed the game. My God. I'm going to tell you this. I kind of like Karl Towns a little bit in his rookie year when I first seen him play. As a rookie, and I was like, I like how this guy plays as a young rookie, man. He has a nice feel for the game. He's out here, getting a solid 18 points per game, 10 rebounds. Not much of a playmaker, but he's getting, a block or two a game, something like that. Like, he has a nice feel for rookie. I like what I'm seeing. I hope that he continues to build on this style of play and, work the post and continue to improve on his skills. And not saying that he hadn't improved after that, but there's a lot of other things that he didn't improve on, and then some tendencies he had that really started to rub me the wrong way. And I do not like Karl Towns. He is up there near the top of my list somewhere of top players that I genuinely dislike in the NBA. And I can't even call him overrated because I don't think many people rate him, period, to be honest. But I do not like Karl Towns. I do not like his game. And I do not like a lot of the blabbering and garbage that be coming out of his mouth over the last 2 seasons or so. And he's over here on the court stinking it up, but yapping his gums. Excuse me, Karl Towns. What have you done in the NBA so far to make you think people are going to say that you changed the game? And you said when your time's up and when you retire. So what about your game moving forward into the future makes you think that you or anybody else is going to think that you changed the game? There is nothing special about your game. Nothing. That's why I wanted to see what did he say in between that ... in the quote. Was he there's nothing, and the reason why I stopped because there's nothing that he could say. There's nothing that he could possibly say that would back up the quote, there's going to be people who are going to say that I changed the game. Nada. He seems to be really high on himself because he can shoot the 3 ball relatively well, and that he won the 3-point contest as a big. Buddy, is that what it's all about? Have you struck gold? Have you reached the promised land? Because you can shoot some spot up 3-pointers that are mostly open in the league with a lot of spacing and stretching the floor. Was that the end game for you, Karl Anthony Towns? Have you revolutionized the game of basketball because you won a 3-point contest? Seriously, we literally just watched Nikola Jokic, the guy that just bumped you out of the first round and you could do nothing with him. We literally just watched Joker demolish you. Karl Anthony Towns, you are a 7-foot center in a league with a lot of small ball. And you have yet to show me that you can use your size and your skills to dominate and lead a team and make your teammates better and flourish within the offense. And at least make some type of stand in the playoffs. Something. Give me something. I would even take a super competitive first round. But you can't even give me that. And now, Ant Edwards has stepped up onto the team. Hasn't been there nearly as long as you. And is now the best player on what should be a team that you're the best player on. But you're not. And he shows he got that dog. And he shows he has that will to win. And he shows that he wants it. He wants to be great. And he wants to lead. Even through his mistakes and his stumbling that he will continue to have as he grows as a player. You don't give off that same type of energy, Karl Anthony Towns. You don't. You've made the playoffs 3 times in your career and have never made it out the first round. And your productivity in the playoffs has dropped significantly from your productivity in the regular season. And honestly, that ain't saying much, to be honest with you. You have largely been abysmal. No, you have been abysmal in the playoffs. And even your best season in the regular season was the 2019-2020 season. And ever since then, you've dipped. Your productivity has dipped, bro. It has. I don't understand it. You big as hell, and you play soft. You play soft as hell. Timid, coy. You ain't got that alpha dog in you. You don't have them leadership mentalities. I don't even know if that's a word. Can I say mentalities in plural? I don't think so. You don't have those leadership qualities, would be the better word. Clown, bro. Talking about, I'm going to change the game. How about before you worry about changing the game of basketball, how about you worry about changing your game and taking your big ass on the block and punishing any player that's smaller than you. And even when you come across another 7-footer, use your strength, use your length, use your footwork, body control. Work on these type of things more. Get yourself a nice little baby hook. Some good moves closer to the basket. How about you worry about changing your game and improving your game? Because you're not going to revolutionize the game of basketball. You're not. Are you delusional? And I'll tell you, one thing that really was the icing on the cake with my dislike for Karl Anthony Towns is when he decided to publicly, I don't know if it was on Twitter or what, I can't remember. He decided to publicly, I don't remember exactly what he said, but publicly criticize Russell Westbrook after he was going through what he was going through on the Lakers, and which we all know was a bad fit for Russ. He wasn't going to be able to be Russell Westbrook and show off his skills and abilities on that Lakers squad. It was a situation set up for Russell Westbrook to more or less fail in. He was not going to be perceived well in the eyes of the public and most casuals. So then people were telling me, I'm not going to go off on a Russ tangent, but then when Russ got traded to the Clippers, I was so happy for him because I told everybody, it's like, wait till he leaves the Lakers and he gets put in a position for him to flourish and be him again. Sure enough, he was a big reason why the Clippers were able to maintain their playoff position and not fall off into the play-in. And then Paul George gets injured, Kawhi Leonard gets injured in the first round, and Russell Westbrook by himself and a bunch of role players gave the Phoenix Suns everything they could handle in that series. Russ was an absolute beast. And I was so happy for him to show up all his detractors. Now, with that being said, you got the nerve, Karl Anthony Towns, to criticize Russell Westbrook. And you yourself, Russell Westbrook, an active player, and you yourself is an active player who has still not figured anything out in your own goddamn career. And you got the nerve to criticize Russell Westbrook, a player that has had far more regular season success, individual success, playoff success than you? You got the nerve to criticize this guy? A man that leaves it all out on the floor every single night? A guy that I don't have to, before warm-ups, shake him up a little bit, tell him to get ready for the game, get your head in the game. I need you to bring it. A guy that I know is going to bring it every single game. That guy? You could use a lot of Russell Westbrook in yourself, Mr. Karl Anthony Towns. There's a lot of things Russell Westbrook does well and at a high level that could benefit you. A lot of heart has a lot to do with it. That mentality has a lot to do with it. Yeah, he's going to get turnovers. Yeah. He's a ball dominant point guard. Yeah, he's going to get turnovers. You got the nerve to be yapping at your gums about Russell Westbrook. And you've only made the playoffs 3 times in your career. Flamed out in the first round every time. And I wouldn't even be that mad if you were out there balling out of control and were doing everything you could possibly do. But you weren't, Cat. But you weren't. All you care about is your 3-point shooting, apparently. I've seen Russell Westbrook take a team after Kevin Durant with 0 shooters, like no quality, consistent shooting, average a triple-double, and take these guys into the playoffs and do everything he can. I've seen him once he get Paul George lead that team into the playoffs. And in an elimination game, Russell had like 40-plus points. He had an amazing game. And then I saw Paul George stink it up with like single-digit points and was literally a no-show. Paul George was on a milk carton. And I seen you, Karl Anthony Towns, with some decent Timberwolves squads. You even had Jimmy Butler. Y'all had a squad that one year. And you couldn't get those boys out of the first round. And Jimmy Butler called your ass out and booked the next season. Got the hell up out of there. Isn't it Jimmy Butler who's in practice with a bunch of third-string players against you and the best players on the team and whipped y'all ass? To make a statement? Karl Anthony Towns, boy, I tell you. You are delusional. And then I had somebody argue with me today. Someone decided they wanted to argue with me. Somebody said Karl Anthony Towns is a better 3-point shooter than Dirk Nowitzki because he said check the stats. Just check the numbers. Karl Anthony Towns shoots the 3-ball better. 0.395% compared to Dirk's whatever. I said, I can't talk to people like this. I can't. I could not even start arguing with him. Because you can't win an argument when someone's just like, well, just look at the numbers. Lord Jesus. Karl Anthony Towns a better 3-point shooter than Dirk Nowitzki. I could go on for an hour telling you why that's not true, despite what the percentages may say, the shooting percentage says. I could back up my argument, but I'm not even getting into that. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Boy, I tell you, man, some people. 7 foot tall. And then, I was waiting for this playoff series this year against the Denver Nuggets. And for a guy to criticize Russ and saying he don't know how to play the game of basketball, whatever he said, that wasn't verbatim. It's like he doesn't understand ball or doesn't, something along those lines. I can't remember. But then I was watching him play against the Denver Nuggets and saw how insignificant Karl Anthony Towns was that entire series pretty much. And how lost he looked on that team. And I can't remember, I don't remember if it was, I think it was that game. Yeah, it was one of those games against the Nuggets. I don't remember which game. I think it was kind of close. And then it was like not much time left in the game, and they put the ball in Karl Anthony Towns' hands somewhere on the court. Might have been at the top of the three-point line. I can't remember. And he had the ball, and it's like, all right, do something. The team needs you. He looked so lost in that play. Didn't know what to do. Didn't know how to execute anything for his team or for himself. Had no idea. I don't remember what he did. I don't remember if he just chucked up some type of bad shot or turned the ball over. I can't remember. But you could just see it in his body posture. You could see it right there on the floor. You could just watch it and saw how uncomfortable he was. And he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to act in that situation. For all this talk about his three-point shooting, tell me what your three-point shooting is in the playoffs, really, when it really matters the most. How them three-point shots falling in high-leverage moments, especially in the playoffs. Well, I'll tell you, for Karl Anthony Towns, in the playoffs, for his career, his three-point shooting has dipped significantly to 33%. One season, 2018 playoffs, he shot 27%. Then he had a pretty good shooting in the 2022 playoffs, 45%. And then in this playoffs, 25%. If it wasn't for that 45% outing, this dude would be averaging in the 20 percentile for three-point shooting in the playoffs. Three-point shots ain't falling so easy, buddy, are they? Let's look at Karl Anthony Towns' playoff numbers. Rookie year, 15 points per game, 13 rebounds. This is rookie year, whatever. Year after that, 21 points per game, 10 rebounds. Not bad, but you still didn't show up overall. You were averaging 25 points per game in the regular season. Why has your production dropped significantly? This postseason, 18 points per game, 10 rebounds. 45% from the field for a center. 45% from the field as a center. 7 foot tall in a small league. And 25% from three-point land. During the playoffs, on his career, he's shooting 47% from the field. As a 7 foot center in a small NBA, that is the best you can do. How about you stop shooting all these damn jump shots and take your big ass in the paint? Change your game, because you're not changing the NBA, sir. You are not that guy. You will never be that guy. Anyway, I'm done. At this point, it just feels like this is Karl Anthony Towns' pinata, and I'm just whipping this shit around. This big Karl Anthony Towns pinata. And if the candy inside the pinata was heart, determination, I ain't getting no candy out of this thing. He ain't got no heart in him. I'm sorry. He's not the future of this team. He should be, given his size and abilities, but he's not. It's Ant Edwards. It is. I want to look at the comment section of this post that Bleacher Report put out and see what everybody else is saying about Karl Anthony Towns, because I feel like outside of Minnesota, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns has a fan base. I've never met a Karl Anthony Towns fan in my life. Outside of Minnesota, does this guy have a fan base? Seriously. So I want to see if there's any cat people out here. All right, I'm in the comment section now. Let's see what some people are saying. Luis Hernandez says, Cat, I'm going to let you finish, but Joker just had one of the greatest playoff runs of all time. Laughing emoji. Jacinto Garza, Cat letting that three-point contest win get to his head. Chris says, Cat and Pat are pioneers in winning playing tournaments. I'm honestly surprised there's no statues of them in the works. Someone else says, this is the same guy who got destroyed by Butler and third stringers in a scrimmage. He's never even made it past the first round of the playoffs, nor has he been considered for MVP or been an all-star starter. Fandom says, the only thing Cat going to be known for is when people hungry for a Kit Kat and they remember that one dude that played in the NBA. Someone else says, some of these young players are just getting way too much ahead of themselves. So much for letting your game do the talking. Ain't that the truth? This is one of those self-motivating things that you should absolutely keep to yourself for a while. Oh, man. Difference between American player and European player. Joker is a class act and has changed the game way more than Cat, coming from a Heat fan. And one thing about Joker don't say nothing. He let his game, does all the explaining and all the story writing. Joker. All the explaining and all the story writing. He ain't got to say a damn word. As opposed to somebody yappity at the gums, but his game has showed nothing. Maxi Power says, this is officially the most delusional era of basketball I've ever seen in my life. I agree with this guy. 100% agree. This era is so delusional. Man. Hey Bro said, the only way he's changing the game is if he learns how to write code. Someone else said, sweet, a free comedy show featuring an NBA player. Someone else said, one-time three-point champion, one-time playing champion, one-time playing finals MVP. Legendary. All right, I'm done. Man, there's been plenty of big guys in past eras. A handful that could shoot the three ball very well. And in eras where the three-point line wasn't emphasized, they were still stretching the floor and shooting the three ball. Not as much because it's not emphasized. Well, it wasn't emphasized as it is today. There's been plenty of big men that I've seen step out and stretch the floor. Come on, man. Killing me. All right. Anyway. This is going on longer than I wanted to. I starts to ranting and I can't stop ranting. Cat, yeah, this is a guy. I'm just a guy on YouTube speaking my opinion. Just a guy. The people that come here. Cause yeah, Cat, you're a bum in my opinion. Especially as much as you talk. Yeah, you're a bum. Shut up. Once you let your game do the talking, I might change my mind. But as for right now, you've done nothing. You have not impressed me at all. And yeah, I'm a guy on YouTube calling Karl Anthony Towns a professional basketball player a bum. Yup, I am. Say what you gotta say about it. I don't care. Y'all let me know what you think about it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. And I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.